Up and running. Oh my goodness, let's hope. And let's go over here. All right, hello GNTC. Here's the review sheet. Let's make it kind of bigger so we can see what we got going on. All right, and then let's see if we can find our president notes. Let's see what we have here. It's probably going to be a bureaucracy stuff. Let's see. It needs to be one. All right, that one looks pretty good. All right, so if I can scoot, let's see if we can find some president stuff. Mm. Something look president-y to you. That's still political parties. Come on, president. There we go. Boom, baby. All right. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. All right. So the roles of the president, he's got a hard job. He's got so much to do. So as chief of state, that's when he goes to the ceremony. So that's Bush throwing out that first pitch. Chief of state, kind of like the Queen of England. Okay, we're not going to get bogged down in Lincoln here. All right, representative of the nation, that's setting a good example. So Obama and Reagan did a good job with that. Clinton and Trump, not so much. Let's see, there's Lincoln stuff. Okay, the party chief. So Obama and Bush, their parties really struggled. Reagan and Roosevelt, their parties did well while they were president. Okay, all right. Okay, so the governing role. So commander-in-chief, that's when you send troops into battle. Let's see. All right, chief diplomat, that's when you're negotiating with other countries, negotiating treaties with other countries. Foreign policy, that's what chief diplomat is. All right, and chief legislator, agenda setter, that's when you're trying to get Congress to work on laws for you. Okay. And then chief executive, that's when you're carrying out the laws. For example, with Hurricane Katrina, there were laws in place for dealing with the hurricane. So the question is, does he carry out the laws effectively? Okay. So there's that. All right, so then the next part, let's see if we can hit the review sheet right here. So here's what we just did. So now we're looking at constitutional power. So if I can go back, wonder if this is the one. Yep. Okay. So what the Constitution says about the president. He's got the power to appoint with the advice and consent of the Senate. So we kind of kept up with it when President Trump appointed Barrett to be on the Supreme Court. Advice and consent of the majority of the Senate. By the way, no filibusters allowed, so you just got to have 51 votes on this one. So got to make 3,000 appointments, 97 of them confirmed. Okay, legislative powers. So he got the power to appoint, State of the Union, so he's proposing bills. He can veto bills, do a pocket veto. So there's 4 powers: appoint, propose laws, veto bills, do the pocket veto. Okay. He negotiated treaties with advice and consent of 2/3 of the Senate. He can use executive agreements to get around treaty ratification requirements for a treaty if he wants to. If he doesn't think he can get the Senate to ratify the treaty. The president has the power to pardon, to forgive crime. So, hey, come next Thursday, he'll be pardoned. President Trump will most likely be pardoned in Turkey. It's kind of a tradition. The take care clause, so Ford pardoned Nixon. Most famous pardon. The take care clause says, take care that the laws be faithfully executed. Okay. Amnesty is a general pardon. So it's been done for Southerners, for draft dodgers, for immigrants. So pardon for large groups of people. All right. Johnson was the champion of getting his veto overridden. The president does not have a line item veto, so he doesn't have the power to veto a specific part of a particular law. All right. Okay, so then Commander in Chief. The Tonkin Gulf Resolution is what gave President Johnson the power to send troops into Vietnam for as long as he wanted to, leave them there. The War Powers Act or the War Powers Resolution was designed to strengthen Congress and weaken the president. And it says that he's got to tell Congress anywhere we send somebody within 48 hours. And then if he doesn't get approval, he's got 60 days to get him out. They can only stay 60 days, and then after 60 days, he's got 30 days to get him out. Congress has never used it, so we're not really sure if it's constitutional or not. Okay, so then there's impeachment. All right, the impeachable offenses. So it's in Article 2, the last section. Who can be impeached? President, Vice President, all civil officers. The impeachable offenses: treason, bribery, high crimes, and misdemeanors. Okay, the procedure is the House impeaches with a majority vote. A lot of people miss that. And then you have the trial in the Senate where the Chief Justice presides over the trial. All right. Johnson wanted to go easy on the South in Reconstruction. He broke the Tenure of Office Act that was passed by the Radicals. And so he got impeached by the House. He fired Edwin Stanton. Okay, he came within one vote of being convicted because the 2/3 votes necessary to convict. All right, Clinton. We know the story. The charges were perjury and obstruction of justice. Representatives could vote for impeachment or for censure. So he got impeached. A majority of folks in the House ordered to impeach who didn't come close to getting convicted in the Senate. All right. So then you get Nixon. People working for Nixon broke into the Watergate to dig up dirt on the Democrats. He had 3 charges: obstruction of justice, abuse of power, and failure to respond to a subpoena. He didn't want to turn over the tapes of conversations that he had while he was president. It was clear he was going to get impeached, and then the Senate was going to convict him, so he resigned. And that is the president, I believe. Let's take a look. Let's go up here. All right. Yeah. All right, so we said to get rid of Barber. Okay, so then the next is going to be the media. Let's take a look and see if I can find it. It's going to be on the number 2. It's going to be way down here. Media's at the very bottom somewhere. Where are we, media? What does that say? Iron triangles, think tanks. That's like policy. More policy. Come on now. There we go. Look at that. You organized people never make the exciting discoveries that I do. Okay, so the media in history. So our first media was just really partisan. There was Federalist newspapers and Democratic Republican newspapers. During the age of Jackson, you had the penny press because, common people needed to be educated. Late 1800s, you had the yellow journalists, and so they sensationalized the news. And the muckrakers were progressive journalists who focused on urban problems, long hours, low wages, factory conditions, inequality, corruption in local politics, that sort of thing. All right, so the objective media came in the 50s. The New York Times byline was all the news that's fit to print. And Walter Cronkite was the most trusted man in America. At the end of his newscast, he said, and that's the way it was. Okay, so then today the roles of the media is to tell us about the bad stuff. Watchdog. All right, so hey, for my Republican friends, kind of keep an eye on things as Biden takes office. Y'all won't be in my class anymore, but the media's going to be critical of Biden too, because they just kind of see it as their role. They tell us what to think about. They don't really tell us what to think, but we all know that there's investigations into the election process. All right, and the horse race coverage, media is focused on winners and losers. Okay, so there's that one. So who wins by how many points, that sort of thing. Okay. Hey, take a look at that. I never did show that to you. So here's all the different media outlets, and so these are the conservative ones over here. Here's the ones that are in the middle of the hill that we use sometimes, and then the ones on the left. Okay, in terms of partisanship, the press is kind of a little bit left to center. So Fox was created to balance that. MSNBC is kind of the liberal counterpart to Fox. Talk radio tends to be pretty conservative, very conservative. All right, there's no, on the internet, there's no editor, so there's no quality control. So the more over the top what you say is, the more likes you're going to get, and that sort of thing. And that's it. So we watched the film on social media. What to say about social media? You got the three guys in there, and they're kind of in that phone, and they're trying to figure out what to make you, what they can send to you to make you keep clicking or to make you pause. Because the more time you spend on your computer, the more money they make. And so politically, they feed polarization by sending really liberal stuff to liberals and really conservative stuff to conservatives, which drives people far apart. But it's not good for them necessarily, but it helps all these companies inside the computer make money. All right, let's see what we got. Let's go back to the review sheet. Okay. Okay, so at this point, we probably need to, So you got Congress. I think I'm just going to, let me just stay with the review sheet itself on the last part of it. All right, so the House, you serve a 2-year term. There's 435 members of the House. They serve their districts. They tend to be delegates, meaning, they try to stay popular since they only have a 2-year term. Senate, there's 100 of them, 2 per state. 6-year terms, they can afford to be more of a trustee. All right, so then you got that process, how a bill becomes a law. So in both the House and the Senate, the bill gets introduced, then it goes to committee, then it goes to the subcommittee. In the subcommittee, you got the hearing, testimony, debate, amend, vote. Then it goes back to the committee. You have the same thing, HCDAV. All right, then before it goes to the House floor, you have the Rules Committee that sets the terms of the debate, an open, closed, or modified rule, how many amendments can be added. All right, on the House floor, debate, amend, vote. All right, Senate, same process, but no Rules Committee in the Senate. Instead, you have the filibuster, and it takes 60 votes to stop a filibuster to invoke cloture. So then you got to send 2 different versions of the same bill to the conference committee, and they work out the differences. They send it back to the House and the Senate floor where they debate and they vote on it. They can't amend it. Then if they pass it, they send it to the president, who can sign it, and it's a law. He can veto it. 2/3 necessary to override the veto, or pocket veto, and the outcome depends on whether or not Congress stays in session. Okay. So conference committee, as we said, that's what put together the 2 the two different versions of the same bill. All right, let's see if I can go over here. I think this one was, yeah, so we'll go up and take a look at that last little section of Congress if we can. Looks like it. Here we are. All right, so here's the things incumbents do to get reelected. All right, so name recognition and franking. So let's go to the like at the end of it. So there's the thing. So franking and name recognition. Then experience, you vote for the experienced candidate. Credit claiming, something good happens. You say, hey, I did that, vote for me. Constituent service is favors you do for your constituents. Position taken, you just take popular positions on an issue. Doesn't matter if you can do anything about it. All right. PAC money, and PAC money is, these political action committees give money to incumbents, not to challengers, because the incumbents are probably going to win. And port money is like money for projects back in the district. All right, so then you have that gerrymandering thing. All right, so a safe seat's one where the incumbent's going to win. Either party could win a competitive seat. Every 10 years they take the census, and then some states get more seats than they had before. Some states get less, so that's reapportionment. Then the gerrymandering is the funky shapes that they draw. The majority party does, and it's legal as long as the whole part of it, the whole district's connected in some way or another. Okay, and I'm thinking that's it. Let's take a look. Let's just hope that the tape takes. Let's see if that's not it. Oh, no, we do have things that cost the job. All right, so let's go back over here. All right. And so we have, all right, a controversial vote or a scandal will ruin a career. Okay, those are the two things. All right, influence on the vote, the political party, what the people in the district want them to do, whether or not it's popular. Lobbyists, these are the interest groups that are going to make donations to their campaigns, and then finally their conscience. All right, so that's it, and let's hope that it took.